Gathered together from the cosmic reaches of the universe, here in this great hall of justice.
Hey, toy fans, welcome to our Toy Addictions, your source for what was then, what's now, and what's about to be in the world of toys. We're Magical Developers, we talk about it all. There's lots to talk about in our coffees of Toy Joy, so without further ado, let's talk little plastic people and things. I'm Matt, producer of this trip down the toys rabbit hole. To my right, that wacky lover of all things, Bobby Vella, Aaron of 6-inch. And usually across the table, your host and favorite seller of everything, Scalper Ron. Let's hit it.
Scalper Ron is not here.
Scalper Ron is not here today. He worked a 65-hour week and he said his pussy hurts. So
Yeah.
I'm kidding. You can block that out if you want.
I love it. I love this. Daddy, my pussy hurts.
I don't even want to talk toys. He said.
Wow.
No, I understand though.
That's what I heard.
He can have a tough job. So I get it.
So he was telling me like his gas line blew like on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah,
then his
he said he was waiting for Nicor.
His electrical went out on Thursday. He's like, and then one of his women's bathrooms just like completely blew up on Friday. He's like, dude, it's been a terrible week. I'm like, no, it's been a shitty week. Just be honest.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
but yeah, hopefully he's sleeping because I've texted him a couple times this morning and I haven't even gotten a reply yet. So either he's regretting his decision to not come in today, or he's still sleeping.
Probably, yeah.
But I will give him credit. At least he calls in before he just doesn't show up, unlike one of me.
Right.
So,
oh, that was funny.
But yeah, that was a rough day. So, but like that morning, I had to get up at 4:00 again to take Jake to ROTC again. He's got a competition in Portage, Indiana. So I just wasn't hungover this morning like I was that time.
You feel like you're hungover though because you got to sit damn early.
Yeah,
I hate that. I've been like that since I got school coming up, and next Wednesday, and my mind has been. I'm doing the same crap that I did both times before classes started.
Right.
I can't sleep.
Oh yeah.
I get uncomfortable at night. I go to bed and my brain is still reeling. No, I mean, it doesn't even. I'm not even thinking about school.
That happens,
I'm thinking about
though.
65 other things.
Yeah.
My brain is still reeling, and I can't shut it off, and it drives me nuts.
That's
I'm
how it
trying
goes,
to get
though.
into a habit where I like climbing into bed at like no later than 10:30.
Oh man.
So I can be up when my wife gets up every day. I mean,
amount
before she leaves.
The amount of sleep I'd get if I went to bed before probably 1 a.m. would be amazing. So
That used to be me all the time, just because. I mean, yeah, when I was like working my last job, the last 3 years I had so much stuff going on upstairs. It's just,
it's rough.
Things just got rough. But anyway,
but then the funny thing is too is people always talk about FOMO, and so like we'll kind of get into this later. So maybe this is a little preview of what we're going to talk about later. But you buy toys because you don't want to miss out on it. It's like like the Phantom. The Flash Gordon stuff. I don't need that stuff. I want it.
I got a talking point about this later, but go ahead.
I bought it because I started to see it less and less show up, so I bought it. I don't regret buying it, but did I really need it? So I've gotten a lot better at not buying the stuff that I want versus like kind of things that I need for a collection, and I focus on those collections. I mean, the bottom line is we don't need any of it, but I don't really have FOMO for toys, but I think I stay up till like 1 or 2 in the morning because I have like FOMO for life. Like I'm just going to miss that episode that's currently airing on, WTTW. It's not like I can't go catch it on Hulu somewhere. Like I got to watch it now.
Well, my problem with FOMO is I mean, might as well bring the subject up now.
Yeah.
My problem with FOMO is the keeping up with the Joneses thing.
Yep.
Especially when I see my friends have the same stuff, like you and Ron. I mean, because we're all three of us pretty close,
Right.
Yep. And I see you and Ron collecting certain things that really interested me back in the day, but I don't have to have it.
Right.
I have my first love, which is Transformers.
Yep.
I see a Transformer and I just get all googly eyed.
Yeah.
But lately, I mean, like I was saying before, I always thought the He-Man stuff was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was just kind of getting to the point where, I was that kid that thought, what I played with was better than that stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just, but it was
It's giant
but it was,
men in
but it was
loincloths.
stupid.
It's hard to justify sometimes.
Well, not only that, but it was stupid because the Masters of the Universe had some wicked cool shit that went with it.
Oh, yeah.
The accessories and stuff.
Yep.
I mean, you didn't see, some barbaric looking dude with huge muscles and walking around with a freaking axe.
Right.
You didn't see that stuff. It's just they had a great idea and they ran with it and it became like a huge popular toy. And by all rights, it should have been.
I think the big grab, so like you look at kind of some of the modern things going on, like kind of started like, well, the first time I realized it and then it got really big for a couple years was like steampunk. So like Biodome, right? Like
right.
So you get like that whole like, well, maybe it started with Fallout too. So you get like the kind of futuristic, but the 50s feel.
Right.
I think with He-Man, a lot of it was like barbarians, muscle men in loincloths coming off the heels of a very successful Conan movie.
Just going to say there was a Conan movie.
But then you add the tech, to add the technology like the Roton, the Road Rippers, like the vehicles that they had, like, and it was very cool. You had the castle setting.
What is it? It's like the of might and magic feel, kind of thing. Yeah.
Right.
It was
it was a very cool mix of like sorcery and technology, and I think that hit. I think it just hit a lot of kids. I liked the technical aspect of it more, like Many Faces, Mechanex. Some of the guys that did robotics stuff.
That was the stuff that attracted me too. Was the machinery, like the attack track.
Yeah.
I thought that thing was badass.
That thing was cool,
and it functioned. I mean, the way it functioned was cool as shit. It was a neat idea.
And you needed room to play with it because it was like,
like when I was showing off that.
Hang on, Ron's calling.
We have a calling in.
Hello.
Hey.
What's up?
Live?
Yes, you are actually. You are live. Got my phone on speaker up to the microphone. What's up? Are you alive?
Am I a special guest this week?
You are.
Are you on your way here?
No.
Say, if you are, you better bring a damn microphone because I don't have one.
He's on his way to the massage parlor. Happy endings, my friend.
Happy endings.
What's up?
Nothing. I saw your text. I didn't know if you were already done or what.
Oh, I just wanted to make sure that you're alive. We're recording if you want to swing by. I figured you'd probably be bowling or sleeping.
No, I'm just going to run a quick errand. Annie and Misty are bowling there. They left this morning.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, I had to get up at 4 o'clock to take Jake to ROTC, so.
So you're already a full day in?
Yeah. Feels like it. I took a nap.
Nice.
So. But yeah, I mean, hey, it's kind of partially your podcast. You're 33% invested, so feel free to stop by. I mean, we just got started, so we'll be here for 45 minutes.
If you swing in, the door's open.
All right, I'm going the opposite way, but I'll let you know.
Call back in.
Call back in. Caller. You're on, caller.
Yeah, this is open line. I just saw Men at Work. The whole subplot of that movie was this open line thing. Funny. Good movie.
Nice.
All right. Yeah, I'll give you a call back when we're out of here. I'll let you know how it went without you. Probably gonna go really good.
Probably.
I'll let you get to it, man.
All right, bud.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
That was a quick call in from Scalper Ron.
Better
So
to know
at
that
least we know he's alive.
Still alive. Yeah.
But anyway, the reason I was bringing that up is because of the keeping up with the Joneses thing. That's an issue that I've been having, and I've been buying a lot of stuff that I really don't need to have.
It's interesting that you bring that up because my professional life has gone in a circle in the last couple of years. So super crazy. So I worked for Crown. I left Crown, went to this other place completely outside of the industry of what I do. One of the reasons that I left was I was actually trying to come back to Joliet. I was working at another location up north. I drove a lot, like way more than I kind of anticipated. And they hired somebody instead of me. at Joliet, so I ended up leaving Crown. So now I'm back at Crown doing the initial job I used to do in Joliet, but I'm training that guy. So it's like it's a weird circle. Now, you know, I love Ryan. He's a great guy. He's probably my best friend at work. But I've been a mentor for the last like year. So one of the things that I'm like always pushing off on him, because he overthinks his emails and stuff. It's like, oh, is this right? I'm like, dude, just put your words on paper and fire it off. Don't think about it. Like, you got to stop caring about things. So I've been like really pushing this whole narrative about like, dude, you just got to not care anymore. Just go do it.
Yeah.
And so I've been like, the more I say it, I think the more I try to do it. And I think that's what's kind of helping me in regards to the whole keeping up with the Joneses. Like, I don't care anymore. Like, I think Transformers are cool. I give you guys shit about them all the time, but I love dinosaurs that turn into robots. I mean, who doesn't like robots and dinosaurs? If you don't, you're not a kid. And we're kids at heart, right? So all the aspects are things that I like, you know, like I like Mask, but I'm not going to follow you down the Mask rabbit hole.
Yeah, I went down that one, and I think that's going to be my second line. And so, I'm just going to I'm pretty much selling off most of my stuff. On the 28th, we'll talk about the Midwest Con coming up too.
So the whole thing with like keeping up with the Joneses or like the FOMO in the toy line, I think because of working with Ryan the last year and trying to get him just to not, I mean, it's crazy. Like, what we do is very detailed work, but in a way you kind of have to step back and not really sweat the details. It's like I'm telling him, it's like, you know, from the professional standpoint, like, hey, you don't have to, like, you can't, like, no base is ever always going to be covered. Right?
Oh, for sure.
But you just have to be ready to react to it when it's not. You know, we don't deal with that with toys. I mean, I guess the only reaction that you'd have is if you know that you want something or if you need something for a collection, you see it on a Tuesday, payday's not till Friday, you kind of wait. Like, you have, like, that's the balance that you have to do in toy collecting.
Yeah.
It's like, or I could spend the $22 now, you know, when maybe I don't necessarily have it, or I could take a chance to try to wait till Friday, but you may never see it again, depending on how long it's been out.
See, my issue with it was the fact that I was literally just spending the money on it because I thought I wanted it.
Right.
You know, it was more of a want than it's weird how that line, when you cross it, the want need line when you're a collector.
Yeah.
My wife called me out on it. I'm just going to be honest. She called me out on it, and she just said, "Look, you got this keeping up with the Joneses thing going on." And and it was a good conversation. I'm glad we had it.
Yeah.
I realized that, you know, hey, you're buying all of this stuff as a coping mechanism.
Just call it what it is,
you got
it was
stuff
an
on
intervention.
your mind. Right.
She just didn't call us over to help her.
Right. I mean, she, don't get me wrong. She's not the bad guy here.
No.
She's totally the hero in this.
Well, and
in this
I'm
situation.
guessing there was a part of you that wanted
brought
to...
it up, and it made sense. The keeping up with it, because I started buying Batman because Ron's got Batman. Started buying E-Man because Ron bought. And then now he's selling off all his Transformer stuff. And we went the honest to God truth. I was actually a little mad at him for about 2 seconds.
Yeah.
You son of a... But hey, you know, he's in the same... He was kind of in the same situation, now that I think about it. So he's really into Motu.
Right.
And he's selling off all his Transformer stuff because, you know, he's one of those guys that's in and out of lines. But
so there's... See, the two things about Ron that are funny in that regard, I think that are funny, are... So I started collecting the Origins line because... I always had parts of it when I was a kid, but there was always more that I wanted. I always had like more of the stuff that you could find, which I think was more the Barbarians. I think all the technical stuff like sold quicker and it was harder to get.
Right.
Plus, at the same time, my birthday is right after Christmas, and for Christmas and my birthday, I was always getting G.I. Joe stuff because new G.I. Joe stuff was coming out every October.
Right.
So I had a few months to get it. So that's what I was getting for Christmas and birthdays. So I think when it came out now, you know, I'm an adult. I have disposable income. Well, I had disposable income until the current administration started taking it away. Different story. But so I started to collect it, knowing that I could, you know, if I was patient or smart, I could obtain it all and get something that I didn't have as a kid. So, but kind of getting to the whole point about keeping up with the Joneses or the FOMO thing, like it did get to a point where I started to say to myself, like, do I really need it though? Like, this isn't really my, like, I like military stuff. I've always liked G.I. Joe. That's why I always ask for it for Christmas instead of He-Man. So you kind of go back to your roots in that regard. Now, the Action Force is parallel with G.I. Joe. It's like a better version of the core, like a much better version of the core.
Oh, totally.
Like, it'll run parallel with G.I. Joe. You can use them together, and it's just such a higher quality product. The difference is the core never really had a backstory to follow. They had cool-looking characters, but the new Action Force, the Valaverse Action Force, like, it has a great backstory if you get into it. So I'm excited to see how that goes. I mean, he's working on a movie. He started a production company with a guy. They're starting to cast. They've had a couple drafts of the script. It's probably going to be a couple years before it comes out.
And he's got he made it so he's pretty much got total control of what's going on with
that's
that
exactly
movie,
why he started the production company. That was in that year one review that you actually pointed me to. So, but now getting back to the He-Man and the Ron stuff. So now he always did He-Man with his brother. And, his brother has since passed. I was friends with Michael, too. Michael was a great kid, so I was shocked when I heard that. So I think the He-Man kind of reconnects him to his brother a little bit, which I think is great, because he's got much more of a connection to it than I had. So there was a couple things going on, like, over time, where he started to collect classified because of the whole Keeping Up with the Joneses, right? And I'm always looking for extra stuff because I'm a customizer. The other aspect of it, so maybe 2 years ago now, early last year, I traded him all my Origin stuff for all of his G.I. Joe Creos that I was never able to obtain that I've always wanted. And he had the entire set. I just couldn't come up with the $400 to give him for the set.
Yeah.
So we worked out a trade. When we looked at the values, he was never able to sell that Creo set for $400. I think he started to bring it down a little bit to sell at shows. I think he was bringing it down to like $350 or something. And when I looked at the value of all the Origin stuff I had, it was pretty equal. So it's like, well, shit, let's just trade. Like, you'll have something that you want. It connects you to your brother. I'll get something I've always wanted.
Yeah.
And then we actually just did it again recently where he started collecting classifieds because he was seeing mine and he thought they were cool. It was part of his childhood.
Yeah.
And I continued with the Masterverse line, which he didn't. And then he's just like, well, I think I want to jump into both now. So I'm like, I'll take your classifieds. He's like, deal. So he just swapped out classified for Masterverse, and now he has like no more G.I. Joe. I have no more He-Man stuff. I kept my 40th edition He-Man. But even now I'm like, do I need to keep that? Like, I put it in a box where I'll never see it, because if I keep it, I'll want to get the She-Ra on clearance for $10. That'll turn into like, well, I may as well get the Hordak too, because I need to have a doppelganger, a foil, Now I got to go back and find another friggin' Skeletor because I need a foil for He-Man. So, like, I don't even want to go down that path. He already had the 40th, so he didn't need it.
That is a deep, deep, deep rabbit hole.
Right, exactly. So, I know how deep it is because I've already been down it. Like, I just dug myself out.
I literally just clawed my way out.
So yeah. So there might be a few things I might be looking to move here soon. The G.I. Joe is never going to go anywhere. The G.I. Joe I might start to be a little more selective on, but honestly, like right now they're killing it. Some things about their QC is not driving me crazy lately.
See, it's the same thing with Hasbro. That
I think it's just a thing. Just in general,
their QC is really
it's like
really driving downhill, which really sucks because they got some stuff coming out that is. I'm trying to stick with stuff that's more G1, G2 oriented.
Yeah,
that they're just kind of like it's like replacing the older stuff with.
Yeah,
just like a newer iteration of it.
Right.
It looks like that character.
It's not like
but
modernized
it's
from the design.
but it's a modern take on it.
You're right. It's built a little different.
There's a few disappointments, but for the most part, I mean, I'd say probably in the at least 85 to 90 percentile, which I think is actually pretty good for a toy line. Stuff looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And their price points, I think, are still kind of BS, but I'm also looking at the world economy, and I get it. I know how it's a huge business, and I understand that they have investors and all of that. I get it,
right?
I get it, but I still think they're climbing the ladder and like stopping in the middle somewhere because the plastic's beginning to look inferior. It's looking soft.
See, and
it's pieces like snap off really easy.
So I'm convinced that a lot of that has to do with shutting down like the pipelines. What the new administration did, because
everything's made out of oil.
Right, exactly.
Everything is made out of oil.
If you're Hasbro, if you're an American company, you're going to have your stuff built in China anyways, because, I mean, not only can they do it faster, they have the capacity to do it. There's no factories like that really in America. I mean, the next closest place is Mexico.
I mean, our air purity laws are are part
Right.
of what
when you start
keeps
melting
us
down
from-
plastic, you're pumping all kinds of shit into the atmosphere.
it's part of what's keeping this country from running.
But I think you're right. I think what they could do at the time is they could buy the plastic byproduct that they needed to make the figures out of the quality they envisioned from America, ship it to China, use that material to build the figures. But now they're getting the material from like Russia or wherever it's coming from over in Europe. I mean, wherever they're getting our fuel from, it's not getting processed properly like it does in the States.
No, we could go back and forth about that, but this is a toy show.
Well, this has to do with toys.
Anybody,
But
but
the plastic is it's
getting uglier. Some of the paint apps are getting bad.
Yeah.
So, I guess it depends on what factory it's made out
Now,
of. But
one of the things that
ever since the last like the third part of the Power of the Primes, like storyline kind of thing. I mean, things are just like rolling off. They are really starting to get, like
almost low quality rolling off.
Yeah, the quality is just it's just almost not there.
Yeah,
It's so some of the things look good, some of the things don't, and
I'm
like I said, the price points I think are just off.
I had kind of an awakening on the whole non-window packaging thing, windowless packaging. I think there's certain things that I'm kind of not excited to see. I think there's certain benefits that we'll get out of the windowless packaging. One of the things that always drives me crazy is you pull a figure out, and this happens with Classified a lot, because of the way that the packaging bubbles, the trays are formed, the figures snap in.
Yeah.
But they always you could tell that they put the figures in when they're hot, because if they don't snap the leg in all the way into the groove.
That was something else I was going to bring up.
Yeah, you get
you don't see
a wonky knee joint because it cools down in that weird ass bent position.
Yeah.
Then you got to heat it up, bend it back, and then hold it until it cools down. So you reset the memory of the plastic.
Right. Exactly.
Old customizer's trick. With this windowless packaging, they don't put them in the trays anymore. They
wrap them up in that paper.
The other thing that drives me crazy is my Classified Duke, which apparently is a pretty highly sought after figure. When I was looking at that action figure 411 I have, that figure, if you can find him, well, I got to look and see if it's sealed or loose, but average going price for that is like $60.
For Duke? Really?
For the original 04 non-redeco Duke.
No kidding.
The one with the gold highlights. And he's actually one of my favorites of the line. It's a great touch of the classic plus a modernized look. I like the armor on the shins. Sorry. But his rifle looks like it looks like a bow.
Yeah.
It's curved in two directions. It's like the barrel is curved up and the whole thing is curved to the side.
Yeah.
So now I could heat it up, and the way that I do it usually is I'll heat it up, I'll set it under my mouse pad, so it's not really touching anything else, and then I'll put something fairly heavy on it for a few minutes so it cools off, and then it has a new memory in place, so it'll stay straight. But I shouldn't have to do that with figures. So far of the windowless packaging figures I've had, I haven't had to do that. Because they basically they come off the line, they get thrown into a bag and wrapped up with rice paper, or they get put in between cardboard so they stay flat. So I've never had any weapons come out wonky in the windowless packaging.
Yeah.
So it's all right, well, that's one less thing for me to have to do. It's the fear of buying it and getting home and opening it and finding a Power Ranger in there that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah. That's one of the things that's, if I had to buy something windowless, I'd almost rather buy it from either a distributor or an online toy company.
Yep.
Because then well, there's nothing that's going to come back to that company that they're not going to open up and look inside that box.
Yeah.
There's not. So
right. They don't care.
And it's not that it matters. If it comes back to them and there's this customer states a QC problem, it goes into a bin and it goes back.
Yep.
It's just that simple.
Yeah.
But these big retailers don't do it. Mike and I Mike from Mr. Wayne's Pop Culture had a discussion about this, and we're like, that one of the things that really hurts us is it's just about every piece of BS that goes on in these large retailers, Walmart, Target. I wish I wish I could get people to quit buying from them, because there's just the stuff comes in and then it winds up it goes up on my rack. Yeah. And then, but just because they maybe see it 2 weeks earlier,
Right.
It either goes on clearance or there's a lot of returns with them because there's people out there that get the figure they want out of the box, put it back in, and then it's
easier to get by.
That's just. I mean, those are just a couple of the things that bother the little mom and pop shops, because
it's easy to get around too. I mean, if Hasbro created a tape that had like a Hasbro branding on it, that you just can't find anywhere else. The biggest thing though is Hasbro brand the tape, because so you can signify that it came from the factory, but make the tape so sticky that
it leaves a residue behind.
Well, there's only one of two ways to open it. You either cut the tape, which you'll be able to see that it's cut, or it's one of those tapes where when you peel it off, it destroys the box.
Well, either destroys the box, or it's like one of those void stickers that they put on game consoles.
Yeah,
when you peel it off, it leaves.
Yeah,
it leaves like a residue or a word or something behind,
right,
because that's what's kind of cut into the sticker.
And then just make a policy, as Hasbro, and tell Target, tell Walmart, tell these out retail outlets, do not accept returns for opened items. So check the seal. If the seal's open, don't accept it as a return.
Right.
That's one way they can do it. Is a company going to do that?
Well,
no, because then you'll get people
there should be a stipulation to that, though, because, well, no, if you buy it and it looks like it's been open, why would you buy it anyway? So that makes sense.
Well, that's the point.
Makes sense.
That's like you're going to have to go through a period where you're going to have to kind of figure it out as the consumer. But if you draw a line in the sand and say, okay, starting June 1st, like starting today, we're going to start putting these labels on. Starting June 1st, do not accept anything. After 6 months, you're not going to find anything that's already been opened on the shelves. I mean, as collectors, we can walk through and see when a toy's been opened before we even.
Well, yeah,
you know what I mean.
So we can spot that crap a mile away.
So,
well, that's like I walked into the local Target here, and I like the Titans, the Transformers. I'm a big fan of the Titans, and the last one I needed was the Ark. The last one I need is the Ark and the new Metroplex now, but I mean that's going to be down the road.
But you have Metroplex.
No, I have the original Metroplex. I don't have the Generations ones, which I'm not even sure if I want them. But or not the Generations. But
you're not trying to keep up with this, Jones. I ain't got it.
Right, the newer era one. He's still a 2-footer, and he's got some cool features and shit on it. But anyway, at the point, the last one I needed was the Ark, and they had one on the shelf in the box on sale.
Oh, wow.
For like $118 or something.
It's usually like $180, right?
They go for about $170, $180 now,
okay.
But I think they're $169 on Big Bad Toy Store.
I don't remember that going for $200 in the store.
No, it's not really a popular Titan, so I don't really see it ever climbing up too much until it's like you can't get it anymore. But anyway, I'm looking at that box and I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to pop for it. And I pulled the thing off the shelf and I looked at the side of the box, cellophane tape on the side. Nope.
Yep.
Nope. Right back on the shelf. Let some other other guy get duped by this.
Now see what I might have done was I may have actually I don't know which direction I would have done it. I may have tried to like pop it open there in the aisle to verify if everything was in it, and then take it up to the front and be like, look, this is open. Now I checked it, everything's in there, but I'm not paying $118 for this because the product is in there, but I don't know if it's missing anything else.
See, that's where I would actually, if I was really interested in it. I mean, honestly, if it might have been for $118, if it was like missing something that I could maybe buy.
Oh, I'd still turn it into like, I'll buy this for you for $90. I'll get it out of your store for $90.
But I mean, it would be the easiest way to do that would be to call over a manager of that particular area
and say, hey, can I open this? And
this is a reseal. Either you guys taped it up or somebody returned it with tape up on it.
Yeah.
And you guys just took it back because you guys never look at this stuff.
Right.
Can we open it and look on the inside? You guys can reseal.
But what if he gets proactive and
says
you opened it? Now you're trying to Jew us out of money.
Well, see, that's the thing, though. You never know because some of these people are just like, how do I know you didn't open it? It's like, look at your fucking cameras.
I blame the community of classified collectors, me excluded, for being such dicks to employees at Walmarts and Targets that people like in those departments don't even want to help anybody
anymore. And I've seen that. That gets stupid. That gets stupid. I have no idea. I can't remember what I was doing. Oh, no, I was out in Lamont really early in the morning for something. And I stopped at that Target out on the Lamont side. And it was probably about 9 in the morning. And something was supposed to be releasing that day because that's why I was there.
Okay.
I just thought I'd stop in there because I knew you were somewhere else. You were... Was it a Saturday? It might have been a weekend, but you were somewhere else, and you were doing something with your family.
Yeah.
And I stopped in there because I knew you were looking for something, and it was supposed to be releasing either that day or the day before.
Yeah.
And I got in. I was walking down the aisle as this guy was having an argument with the management. And everything he was said was just like, it's like, shut up, you whiner. You missed your chance.
Right.
You know, you look at the peg, scratch your head, and go, "Oh well, I'll come back."
I thought I was going to have that happen yesterday, so I just happened to jump on the Target app at about 11:15, and I saw that they had the Tiger Force Bazooka in stock at Sherwood, and I'm like, "Well, shit, I'll run there at lunch and pick it up." And I was like, "Well, wait a minute, let's see if I can buy it online." Like, let me test the system. So I actually ended up buying it online, and it said, "We'll let you know when your purchase is ready." I was fully expecting to get an email 2 hours later saying that it was canceled because they weren't there. It's like, that's fine. Like, not sure if I wanted it after seeing some reviews on it, but if it works, it works. I'll get them. I know eventually I'll get them. I'll get them at retail. So I had nothing to lose.
I don't have no problem with that feature at Target.
So
I really don't. I mean, it's if
you
they
had a couple things that they kept canceling on you though, didn't you?
There was a couple of
Motus, I thought.
Yeah, it was a couple of Motu things.
So
anyway,
so I get an email. So this is at 11:30 ish. So I ended up taking a lunch at like 1 o'clock. Right before I walked out of the building, I got an email that it was ready for pickup. So I'm like, all right. So
perfect timing.
So I go out there. I take my lunch from 1 to 2. It shortens up my afternoon. And so I get there and I got some time. Walk to the back. They had a bunch of Motu stuff there. They completely like rezoned their aisle and everything. I'm like, all right, well, maybe this is going to be a different year. Like, I ain't going to have any money to buy toys, but maybe I'll be able to find them. So I look around, didn't see anything I wanted. I'm also still looking for those Batman, the retro carded Batman, the black and white Riddler, black and white Robin, Mr.
I haven't been to the stores in a while, but I'm on the lookout for that Robin because that's the only
Their
one.
release date finally hit the website February 19th.
Okay, cool.
So they're another month till they're out.
So I mean, if you see one, grab it.
So so I go to the front to pick up your stuff. Girl scans the code. Okay, I'll be right back. And she doesn't like go into the back where like she walks across the front of the store. I'm like, all right, maybe they got a special thing for collectibles. So
she
people
went
don't
down
grab
the
them out of
aisle and
tub.
got it.
No, because it wasn't in the aisle. That's the thing. I went to go look to see if there was one in the aisle. I was going to grab it and then go claim it and be like, well, here, then I just grab this one in case. That was my plan, but they didn't have it there. So like now I'm also like, well, we'll see what happens when I get down there. So I think there's a room across the front of the store behind the Starbucks that they keep more stuff because I kept seeing people walking in and out of there. It looked like there were shelves in the back.
Yeah, the one out there I've noticed. I noticed over the holidays because they had some like in that back corner where they would check you out.
So
and then they had some in that back wall, and then they have a back room that's full of that stuff, and then they were keeping stuff along that side wall there.
So
maybe that's the stuff they moved over to that.
So there's a whole shelf of stuff it's exposed and you can see it. They're clear tubs.
Right.
So I wonder if maybe at some point either that Target or a Target somewhere had somebody come and grab something out of one of those tubs.
I was wondering if something
and so
like that
they
wouldn't
lock
happen.
up certain things because like all the tubs had stuff written on it, but there was nothing for like toys, video games, collectibles, hobbies, whatever. So I'm thinking they had that locked up. Now I think they're building a room behind that counter, but they're still working on it. So it's across the store. So the girl's like, I'll be right back. She was gone for 18 minutes. Like literally to walk across the front of the store like 100 feet and then come back. It's like, I'm sorry it took so long. But the whole time I'm standing, like after a couple minutes, I'm like, maybe somebody just stopped and asked her something. Okay, well, maybe she had to go to the stockroom to look for it. After about 10 or 12 minutes, I was like, she's just going to come back and tell me like she's sorry they don't have it, which I'll be like, that's fine. I'll just stay here, get my refund, and it's because I already paid for it.
Yeah.
But she came back with the bag, and she's like, I'm sorry it took so long. I was like, no, it's okay. Grabbed it. Hustle up, put them in a McDonald's order because now I didn't have time to stop and get anything else for lunch. I'm sitting in the car and I went, shit, I should have checked this before I even walked out of there because for all I know, she grabbed one of the Python bats off the shelf hoping I wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, I opened up the bag and it was Bazooka. So they did pick it and they put it away. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know why it got lost.
That's weird.
But that's the first time that's ever worked for me in Target because I've tried to order Motu stuff before and I've tried to order some classified stuff and it always gets canceled.
Yeah.
Always gets canceled on a buy like that.
Yeah, I've done that twice already, and I haven't had a problem. And then I did it with that one Motu thing, but
Yeah.
it was. I mean, it was the Sunman set, but I got a hell of a price on it, so I figured
Yeah.
why not keep trying?
Which the crazy thing is that Sunman set is still at Targets for $50 again.
Yeah,
So if you didn't buy it for the 30 or the 25 when it was down,
yeah. I mean, mine'll be going. I'll make a little something on it, but mine will be cheap.
yeah. So,
But yeah,
but we had a few things that. So that's kind of a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. Yeah, and overall the bazooka, nice to have in the collection. The original one's going to look better, I think. I'm not overwhelmed with it. In fact, I'm a little underwhelmed. Comes with a bazooka, 4 missiles, and a backpack.
yeah. There's a lot of things that they said that there was going to be. I mean, in the original pictures,
Yeah,
what was supposed to be part of it, and it's just
not there.
It's just not there.
yeah. So I mean, there were supposed to be some like beard shading under the mustache. It's not there.
I mean, Hasbro has just really been letting people down, man.
Yeah.
Really letting people down.
Yeah, and I've heard the same thing about the Recondo. The Recondo is somewhat disappointing. That one I'm actively looking for. This one, if I found it, I'd get it. Recondo I'm actively looking for because they haven't announced they're doing a regular version. And honestly, I don't know if they will. He's not a very popular character. He was in like 2 cartoons. I don't know if he was ever in the comic.
Who, Recondo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, and I'm actually...
I think I remember him being in at least 1 or 2.
now I got to go back. I've read all the original run of comics.
He was like he was a later character, but it was an early part of the run. I know.
Yeah,
that.
yeah. He would have come in probably in the first 50 or 60 issues.
That's
I'm
like-
thinking he was in there at some point, maybe in 1 or 2 cells.
I want to say I've seen him when they were doing something in a jungle setup somewhere, trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I've actually been watching a lot of G.I. Joe cartoons lately while I'm sitting dicking around with my figures because now I've got everything set up in my computer, so I just watch Tubi on my Xbox,
Yeah,
dial in some old classic G.I. Joe.
I got the entire. I think I got the. I think I still have the entire DVD set.
Yeah. So so he was in one episode where they had to go to the jungle and do something, but he's not in a lot of the cartoon episodes. He I don't remember him being. He definitely wasn't a prevalent character. If he had a lot of stuff going on in the comic, it would probably been in the special missions. Because like Shockwave was never really in the main comic. Actually, neither was Outback. A lot of figures from like 87, 86, 87, they weren't in the main comic, but they got special missions.
Yeah.
So Recondo may have, because Recondo was 85, so he might have fallen into that 80. He might have been 84, 85 time frame. So he was kind of in that weird period where they didn't use a lot of characters in the comics or the.
It's strange. A lot of the characters that you didn't see like a lot of use in the comics out here.
Yeah.
They were major characters in Action Force.
Right.
Major
Right.
Outback was one of them.
Yep. And the
especially the Tiger Force version of him.
Yeah. So which is probably why they made him now. Probably trying to steal some of that Action Force thunder.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
But so the only other thing I'm looking forward to is Series 3 Valaverse figures hit their warehouse last week, and he's going to start sending orders out the 19th and 20th. So I should have mine next week.
Cool. Yeah, I'm really curious to see those in hand. Because when I saw that and I'm not the huge like this. This is another Keeping Up with the Joneses thing. I just started collecting the classified stuff, and I only wanted to pick and choose.
Yeah.
But I just started grabbing.
Yeah.
So now I've got what I'm going to keep in a little cubby hole, and I may pick up 1 or 2.
The thing is, like, they're so hard to find. You feel like special when you find one. It's like, I got to buy it because I found it.
That's the problem. It's like the thrill of the chase, you know, and that's part of why I love collecting so much. Like, when I do my G1 stuff, I'll get the core piece and I'll chase down the rest of it.
Right.
You know.
Yep.
So. But no, I'm totally on that bandwagon. But I really need to just kind of
the Action Force bandwagon.
Totally.
But is it a bandwagon anymore? I think it's just a thing. By year 3, you weren't on the Chicago Bulls bandwagon. It was a thing at that point.
That's kind of another Keeping Up with the Joneses thing, though.
Yeah.
Like, I want to stay with my core. My core collection, which is Core's Transformers, and now Mask is really diving in there because I fucking love the Mask stuff.
Right.
But with the classified thing, I really started going overboard. But I mean, the stuff that Valaverse puts out is like really, it's all universal.
Right.
I mean, it's just got a look to it that's, that's just, it's just. Certain figures are just really appealing, and they look fantastic, and they come with all of this great stuff, and
even the ones that aren't.
And you can do whatever you want inside of your mind with that. Yeah. Whereas the GI Joe it's always going to be GI Joe.
Right.
But the Valaverse stuff is, but Bobby's got a good thing going, man.
And I think that's
really
what I like about those two lines. Like the G.I. Joe definitely gives me the nostalgia feels, puts me back in my backyard in 1987.
That's the other thing, because I remember
Action Force is the new thing I can keep up with from the beginning, from its inception, and be like, I've been here since the beginning. Like that's my appeal to Action Force.
Dude, I mean, I remember being a teenager and popping over to.
Yep.
Popping over to your mom and dad's place and like, hey, where's Aaron at? And you're and I'd
my
go
teens.
back and we'd play with Geos for a couple hours, man.
Best thing my dad ever did was build that garage in the backyard because there was a pile of dirt in the back behind it that for like 2 summers I would go out there and I would just dig all kinds of holes in the like caves in the dirt. And I mean, I don't know how many figures I lost in there.
Dude, I mean, we didn't do it a lot, but I remember when we did do it, we had a lot of fun.
Oh,
and,
God,
I was almost driving by then.
I would go all out with my
great
wars.
Time, though.
I'd get pissed off on my folks for like moving stuff. It's like, stop! Don't move that jet. It's in my way. I'm halfway through a friggin' battle here, and I can't finish it right now. I got baseball practice.
I remember that.
My mom was always yelling at me to clean my room. She's like, clean your room. I'm like, why? It's clean. She goes,
Dude,
no, it's not. There's stuff all over.
You
I was
got
like,
wires and zip lines and shit.
I was like, my clothes are in the hamper. My books are on my desk. I got toys on the floor. Yeah, it's not cleaned up. I was like, I'm in the middle of something, all right?
I remember that.
It was I was doing live action DVR before DVR was a thing. I could have like pause. The crazy thing was I'd always remember
right where you're at.
I would right where I was. It was like, all right, it's like, and in my mind, it's like during the last episode, like Cobra Commander, and like I would just pick up. It's like, all right, we're gonna break into the mountain.
I remember stepping in a couple of times right in the middle of one of those deals and taking over the bad guy's role, man.
Oh,
we had a blast though.
Yeah, it was.
We
fun.
had. I mean, like I said, it was
creative.
I was 15.
Yeah.
You know?
I played with my toys till I was probably 16, 17.
Oh, God, dude. I still play with mine. I'm 51.
See, my version of, technically I still play with mine, but my version of playing with toys is like reorganizing them. So I've been reorganizing my figures for the last couple weeks.
The Transformers, I pick them up and just kind of,
Yeah. With my 3 3/4 inch, I finally got them organized in a way that I like them. I'm starting to work on something new, and I'm not sure if I'm quite there yet. That's the thing one of the things I didn't want to go to a 6-inch line for was it's just I need more space to store them. So if anything gets me to stop collecting figures, it's probably going to be that. I'm just going to literally run out of room.
Right.
So, which is why I'm kind of contemplating now maybe moving some stuff here pretty soon. But yeah.
Okay, a few more things I wanted to bring up here before we got about 10 minutes to go.
Some talking points.
Yeah. The one thing I wanted to bring up with was I found this interesting, and I'll bring it up probably at the toy show. We'll be at the what's it called? The Midwest Con?
I think it's just Toy Con, sponsored by Midwest Collectibles. Let's look at. I'll look it up.
It's sponsored by Midwest Collectibles and Disc Replay.
Yeah, that's right. I saw that.
That'll be in Romeoville, Illinois, coming up the 28th. I think it'll be from 9 to 4, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can find the flyer now.
Aaron and I will be podcasting from there, probably in first thing in the morning.
Ron will be there too, won't he?
I don't know. I got to talk to him yet.
Okay.
He still hasn't given me an answer. He says he wanted to look up schedules and stuff.
Well, depending on how this show goes, we may not need him anymore.
That's what we said about you. And no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but I bring nothing to the table but myself and my good looks. Like all of my shit's at his house, and the table is at his house.
But yeah, we'll be podcasting from there. We depending on how it works out, we may live stream.
RomeoCon.
9
a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Romeoville Athletic and Event Center, 55 Phelps Avenue. So if you're familiar with the area, that's the new rec center that went up right behind the Fat Ricky's right there on 55, 53, and...
If you're old school, it's in the same lot where the old Jewel was.
Yeah. That's old school. Holy shit.
That's way old school.
Let's go further back. It's not far from Lost Acres.
Yeah, it's right down the street.
And honestly, anybody who's going to go to this con probably knows where Lost Acres is in Romeoville. So.
RC Hill. It's right
But,
across from RC Hill.
But yeah, he's looking at 100 vendors and dealers. There's going to be some customs there. DC, Marvel, Funkos, cosplay artists, WWE. The list goes on and on.
Your favorite producer, Matt, will have a table there as well with some retro stuff, some new G.I.
Free
Joe.
parking. Lunch will be for sale on the premises. Children 5 and under and veterans are free. So if you serve for the country,
Sweet deal.
thank you very much for your service, and you're getting in that bad boy for free. It doesn't say what the entry fee is, though. It just says early arrival is strongly recommended.
I want to say the entry fee, I think, is $5.
$5, yeah, that sounds about right. So yeah, so we'll be out there for sure. I think we're going to be podcasting. We're looking into live streaming it. But
we'll probably be podcasting first thing, like right as the show opens between 9 and 9:30. Probably be casting for an hour, maybe a little longer. We will have space for guests who want to stop in and just say hey, and what do you collect and
be part of the community.
What toys are you looking for? If you're part of the community, pop on by and say hi. We'll be broadcasting. I mean, the show will go out later, but we'll be broadcasting right there with a PA speaker, so you should be able to hear us for a little bit, but
so you can walk by and experience nails on chalkboard.
Yes, that's right. Exactly. Exactly. But that's going to be fun. I think be our first time doing a live cast from a show, and hopefully not the last.
So I was telling around about that. Actually had a lady at work. I think her son collects pops or maybe collects some toys, and she just started with us a few months ago. And she comes over. I was talking to the girl that actually sits next to her in her cube, and she comes over and she goes, "Hey, have you heard about this RomeoCon?" I'm like, "Heard about it. I'm gonna be podcasting from it." She's like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we're gonna be there first thing in the morning. We're gonna either record a show or live stream. We're still working out the details, but yeah, we'll definitely be there." She's like, "Oh, that's cool." I was like, "Your son collects toys or something, doesn't he?" And she's like, "Yeah." I was like, "You guys gonna be there?" She's like, "I don't know yet." I'm like, "Well, come by and see me. Like, I will not be hard to find."
believe me, if Midwest has got anything to do with the sponsor out there, there's gonna be a lot of them anyway. But there's gonna be a ton of pops out there.
That's what I told her. I was like, if you haven't
been
there,
collector, that's where you want to be.
I said, go check out my buddy Richie Sandoval at Midwest Collectibles. He's got a lot of pops, and if he doesn't have it, he can work on trying to get it for you.
Yeah, he's pretty slick with that.
Yeah. He's definitely got his connections. We look forward to seeing anybody that wants to come and talk to us, hang out with us, and we look forward to seeing you out there.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Like I said, RomeoCon to be sponsored by Midwest Collectibles of Romeoville and Disc Replay, and that's on the 28th of this month in Romeoville, Illinois. So check it out.
You think the guys from Disc Replay will have anything set up?
If they're sponsoring it, I imagine they're probably going to have something.
Yeah.
I'm probably a video game booth or something, I'd imagine.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. There's a lot. They got a lot of that stuff.
They may have some like records and tapes kind of thing. I don't know which Disc Replay is actually going to be out there.
Yeah.
I got to talk to my buddy, but he see if they maybe are going to have a presence out there. Because he's a franchisee. So
that's right. I know you know one of the guys.
Yeah.
You know the guy down in Crest Hill pretty well.
Yeah.
So.
You know what? I'm going to give him a shout out too. Disc Replay out in Crest Hill, Illinois. Swing in, talk to Bob or Scott. They've constantly whatever you're looking for, man. If they can get their hands on it, they'll get it for you.
Yeah, from a media standpoint,
they have a ton of records. They got a ton of tapes. If you're a CD collector, I mean, it's really honest. DVDs. If you're looking for it, there's a good chance you may find it there.
Yeah.
Really good chance. They take in some good stuff.
And if they don't have it there, they've got some other locations they can either get from or they can send you out to.
Yeah, they know with the records and stuff, especially talk to Scott because he knows what's popular. He knows what's out there. That dude is a guru. Nice. Absolute guru.
Gurus are good.
Video games or pretty much most other stuff. Just talk to Bob. He'll hook you up.
And I don't pop in there a lot. Maybe once every month or two. Probably once every 2 or 3 months.
Down there every Thursday religiously.
But yeah, but every time I'm in there, at least I'm always seeing some newer things. So there's some things that have been there for a while, but everybody's got to have their peg warmers.
Yeah, they've got.
But they're always getting new stuff in.
They've got their stuff that sells, and they got their stuff that probably hangs.
So it's a big stack,
just like every other place. But they they're getting busier. People are
There's always a big
people are
stack
discovering
of,
them a little bit more, I think. So, but and it's just that time of year too. It's after Christmas. There people got a little bit of money.
Kids
to
got
blow.
Christmas money. Let's go buy 5 DVDs for the price of one.
Yeah, but yeah, they're good.
Got a lot of those sales.
They're good people. They're good people.
So, yep.
You looking for anything? Like we're talking heavy metal to death metal.
Yeah,
talk to Danny.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Danny will probably have some information that you probably never think that was ever known.
Yeah,
he's pretty good with that. Danny's
Nice.
a good guy. But yeah, go check those guys out down Disc Replay Crest Hill.
Yep.
Good shop, good people.
Yeah, absolutely. What else did you have? You had a couple items we could probably hit on really quick.
I was just going to bring up there's a lot of scuttlebutt going around about the Motu line, the Classics line going away. There was a fella by the name of Scott who runs a YouTube channel called Spectre Creative.
Yeah, Scott Knightlich, I think his name is.
I can't remember his last name, but
Yeah.
I listened to a lot of stuff post that podcast or post that YouTube video after I sent it to you. There was there's another channel, Geek Dad Collector or Geek Dad Toys or something like that. Well, there's those two get on and they live stream quite often, and I was listening to their take on it, and they are not 100% just like most of the community. They are not 100% convinced that it's happening because they have their inside information, and Scott supposedly got his inside information, and I personally don't believe that it's going anywhere because they're pushing a lot of stuff. Not only that, but their stock just went up. Well, why would they ditch a line when their stock when it helped their stock just go up?
So there's another. Okay, so I just did a Google search on is Motu going to be discontinued. So the first video I get is a half-hour video from Geek Dad Life.
Geek Dad Life. Those two guys are pretty cool. Check them out. They're on YouTube.
Join John and Jay's. They talk about the fallout from Spectre Creative's latest video saying the line is dying and will be over. It just has the 3 dots, so I don't know what the rest of it says. There's another one underneath it by Tidarium Hanger that actually came out. Oh, this came out in 2021. But they were talking about this back then.
I was going to say he can be a little bit behind certain things, but he talks so damn fast. He can be a little hard to listen to. But
Tidarium Hanger.
But his
I'll have to check it out.
His he does a lot of stuff with like third party Transformers and some Star Wars stuff. And,
Okay.
I mean, he's an all arounder. Pretty good channel.
Yeah.
But he's an acquired taste. Cool guy though.
So I mean, my take on the Spectre Creative thing, like I like his videos because they're usually like 10, 12 minutes, so they're pretty quick watches.
Yeah, and it gets you some insider information that makes you think.
He does have some good information. I like the fact that he can bring a perspective from like the manufacturing and the planning process, the logistics of a toy. Like
kind of there's an area he's been in.
He was one of the places that I first learned that the life cycle of a toy from concept in your brain to actually hanging on a peg is about 18 to 20 months.
Yeah,
that's the first time I heard it. Reinforced that. Bobby's very open with information like that. He just wants people to understand that
that dude knows how to run a business, man. He really does.
If you see a picture of a figure, you're not going to get it for probably a year and a half, which is, I think, the one thing that he doesn't like about Hasbro is they do these like stupid pipeline reveals, or they do these computer generated shots, and people are like, well, where are these figures that we pre-ordered? Because they do pre-orders when they show you the pictures. Okay, it's still going to take almost a year to make this thing and get it out. So just relax.
For sure.
But I can't help but feel there's some bias in Spectre Creative's videos towards Motu, because I know he worked for Classics.
That's what a lot of
for like 10 years.
That's the other thing too. That's what a lot of people were saying was, he's got. Everybody thinks he's just got a bit of a jealous bone.
This is not the first time he's done a video where Masterverse or He-Man was dying. Now,
right.
I think he might be able to spark this, because I actually just heard the other day that apparently Netflix canceled the new He-Man that they're doing. So I think they're coming out with season 2 of Revelations, but the big bulky He-Man, like with the shirt, and he looks like a kid.
The new cartoon.
That's done. Yeah. The new CGI He-Man is done.
That doesn't surprise me, because from what I understand, it did not do well.
He might. You got to think, between Masterverse and Origins, that He-Man toy line, which essentially was what the cartoon was for, it was a vehicle for the toys, that had to be a sliver. like a literal sliver of what Origins and Masterverse were doing.
Well, not only that, but it's another talking point to bring up that goes kind of with this was the way people. The way it seems a lot of companies are laying this stuff out anymore, they're actually starting to work like collectors lines into it. I mean, because really think about it.
These aren't for
Masterverse, and the Masterverse and Classics or Origins, I should say.
Yeah.
Those were nostalgia pieces.
Right.
That's nostalgia stuff. The newer, the Masterverse stuff is a newer take on it. And, of course, there was the cartoon that went with it because the cartoons are meant to sell toys.
Right. Yep.
But kids don't play with toys like they used to anymore. They'd rather sit down behind a computer or have a controller in their hand.
I think there's something else to consider here, too. I think it's a fair statement to say that Origins will definitely be done before Masterverse. But there's a reason for that.
For sure. Well, they're going to run out of stuff.
Exactly. Origins is just recreating the original run of toys. Now, they might get to some conceptual things. Even if they do concepts that they had that they never did, it's still a finite run. And ultimately, Masterverse is still a finite run, but Masterverse can pull from comics that nobody's ever read.
Right.
They can pull from stories that were told that nobody's ever seen. And they can pull from other concepts that were made. Like that's exactly what Classics did. I mean, who the hell ever heard of Molar?
Yeah.
He's a dentist in Eternia, but they made a toy of him. Well, you could do that in Masterverse. Doesn't make a lot of sense to do it in Origins.
Yeah,
but you could do it in Masterverse.
Yeah. They're leaving room with the Masterverse thing to actually create.
Right.
Whereas with the Origins line, they simply can't. They can give it more points of articulation, but they can throw in like the new character that's coming out, the frog guy.
Frog Bog or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as I know, they've never made a figure of him.
Well, it's like that spacesuit figure that I had in the set that I gave Ron. Like, that was a sticker in a play set that they turned into an actual figure now. So Origins will do stuff like that, which is cool. You get stuff that you didn't have before, but
they have room to actually create things for the Masterverse
a little
line.
Oh, yeah, for Masterverse. Absolutely. So now the thing with kind of coming back to what we were saying earlier, what I was saying earlier about Classified and Action Force, it's a complete nostalgia line with Classified and with Motu. So you're not like that medium is done. You're not doing a new cartoon about it. You're not doing, nobody's putting out new comics for it. So you're going to run out of stuff at some point. That's true for G.I. Joe. I mean, even when they were doing Pursuit of Cobra, they would come up with a new character like Shadow Tracker, which they're actually making a Classified now.
They're actually making a Classified of that, which is actually kind of neat.
Cool. But they were still doing comics, and every once in a while there'd be a new character in the comic where even if it wasn't cool, you could go back and make that character. Yeah. But G.I. Joe is finite. I don't expect Classified to last forever. That's what I like about Action Force. It's being created as we speak. Right now there's no end to it. Do I expect it to go on for 50 years? No. Typical toy lines like that, 10, 12 years. But Bobby Vall is also getting into other properties.
Right.
So
he's working on. He's got a brainchild for a World War II line.
He's actually got. Rumor has it he's got a license for another property that he's going to start making toys for.
Oh yeah, he's supposed to be announcing that.
Probably, I think he said
in the
a Joe
next couple
Fest.
of months. I think.
See, I thought he said Joe Fest, but he might be doing.
Oh, maybe it was Joe Fest. Okay, because I'm trying to go back to the last live stream.
But it's like, all right, now my brain is thinking like, did he get something weird like, God, what was the guy like? It was a blue trooper. They made a video game for it a couple years ago that was like really popular. It was a really cool comic, kind of in the vein of a Heavy Metal, but it was a whole series of like blue troopers, kind of in this dystopian future, and I can't remember the name of it now. But I'll see if I could find it here on Google. But is he going to go something crazy like that, or did he somehow wrestle away the Silverhawks license from Super 7 because they shit the bed? Like, I have no idea.
How nuts would that be? Because I would love to see him get his hands on a license like that. That'd be cool.
Now, okay, what if he got Mask? Would you want him to make 6-inch Mask figures and maybe a vehicle or two?
I would shit my pants.
Or would you want him to go in hardcore, like 2.5-inch figures, vehicles? Because I'd have to think that his vehicles would be amazing.
That would be a total nostalgia train for so many people. If he just took like the 2.5 inch and maybe bumped him up to like 3 or something and made the vehicles a little bigger.
A little bit, yeah.
But I mean, that's gonna be money.
Think of prices then and prices now.
Right.
Even if you made them the same scale today, they're going to cost twice. Maybe
I mean,
three
but
times
still,
as
I mean,
much.
think about it. He's making that 18th scale truck. The way he's planning on making that. I mean,
yeah.
he's trying to keep that under $100 or at $100.
Right.
I mean, really, in today's market, that's not bad.
Right.
That's
right.
honestly not bad. And I mean, and I'm not saying it because I'm a Valiverse nut like you, but I mean, I have a lot of respect for that man. He's taken nothing and turned it into what he's turned it into. I mean,
Rogue Trooper was what I was thinking of.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know. Okay, I know what you're talking about. I mean, but he's taken nothing inside of a year.
Yeah.
And his company has made $3.8 million. In a year,
and he
said with the amount of orders that he's taken, which really by a lot of standards, is not a lot.
No, and I mean, it's $30 a figure, but the price point is there. I mean,
the price point is there, but look at the quality.
Right.
I mean, you're actually getting the quality for $30. Not only that,
and for the people that want to shit on the quality and the broken hips of the Scarabs, when he figured that out, he had the company make. So for the run that they found. He told the company to go back, fix the plastic, and then go back and make hips.
I was going to say
so he could replace the hips.
He had them actually reformulate the plastic.
I had.
Who the hell does that?
I actually had a Scarab, so I ordered 3 of them. I had one that broke. They sent me an entirely new figure. He just sent me the figure, no accessories, just a figure with a set of hands.
There was actually, I mean, it was quite a few. He sent you the new complete figure because, and I think he mentioned this in part of that live stream. He sent you the complete figure because they ran out of the replacement bottom half, so he had them made.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, that's basically what it was. I mean, they had to make so many.
Well, and
he figured out the percentage of attrition that was out there,
right,
and then the amount of people that actually did say, "Hey, this is what happened."
Yeah,
and he just took care of it all. But it just became easier in the long run after so much money was spent doing that.
Right.
To just what do I have in stock?
Yeah.
And that's why you got a complete figure,
and that's why everybody likes.
I mean, but he did it the right way,
right? He didn't. Next series figures are going to cost $32.99,
right?
To try to recoup some of that cost.
Yeah, he
knows.
I mean, he's still to this day is like, I'm not raising the price on anything.
Yeah, nope.
This is what it's going to cost if something comes out, and it needs to have if something new comes out and it got to have a price bump, then. Yeah, it's not going to be much.
It is what it is, and it'll reflect why.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, those are the trials and tribulations of doing business.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping he's basically just putting it out there on a whim and a prayer, going, I'm hoping that by that time I will have, enough of a fan base for my product, which he's got a fan base.
Yeah,
I mean, that people want his product and can't get it.
I'm still seeing Facebook posts that are like, "Hey, I just got into Action Force. I just found out about him." So now he's got a couple lines out there. Now he's going to have to deal with like the retro collectors, but he's already addressed that. I mean, he's already got this special deployment series coming out.
I mean, it's crazy to see. When they do their live streams and stuff, they have these things on YouTube called super chats where they send them $2 or $5 or whatever.
Yeah.
This last live stream that they did, where they talked for like it was him and Laser Pants talked for like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours.
Oh, it was like 2.5. It was like 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah, it was a long damn time. But he was just talking about that first year in business, and some of the stats that he put out were amazing. We went over those last week.
Yeah, I actually have some of them written down.
But he was I forgot where I was going with this now.
The super chats.
Oh yeah, he was talking with the super chats and stuff. I mean, I'd never seen anything like it, and I watched live streams quite a bit. Yeah. I'd never seen anything like it. They were going from anywhere from $10 to $100.
Yeah, some dude, and then that dude that did the 100, he came back later and
gave him another 100
or another 50. Yeah,
and then a 50. Right.
Then there was a guy that like to give him like. It was like 1.1 million CRC, and he's like, "What is this?" And it was Costa Rican money or something.
Yeah, it's Costa Rican money. It turned out to be like it was like 25,000 or something like that. But It was but it came out to be like $4.95 or
Yeah.
something like that. But still,
But yeah,
but I mean, I'd never seen anything like that
and
before.
I never really realized what the point of a super chat was, and I kind of figured it out then. Is basically if you throw a few dollars at them, like they'll talk about something specific that maybe they won't typically
right. I mean,
talk about.
the super chat is basically you're throwing them a few bucks to actually like.
Expound on something.
Expound on something,
Yeah.
or answer your question, or whatever.
Yep.
Which is fine. It's cool. I mean, I have no problem. I've never done it.
Yeah, I
I've
don't know
thought
if I
about
would.
doing it a couple of times, just like chucking them a couple of bucks or whatever.
Yeah.
And I have no problem with that. I'd
might
like to
have-
see their content continue.
I might have thrown something out there because I've been wanting to, and I just don't engage in social media. I don't post anything. I mean, I replied to a couple of things on Truth Social the other day, and all I keep getting is like, so and so liked your post, so and so follows you, and I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. So I just don't engage on social media. I use it as like a news source. That's really all I use it for. But if I would have known that chat, well, I shouldn't say if I'd have known. I knew they was doing it because I follow them. If I would have been watching that live, I probably would have sent in a super chat and said, hey, dude, look, super excited about everything through Series 3. Series 4, what's going on? Characters, names, pipeline reveals. I don't give a shit. Give me something. I got to know what's in the future.
Yeah, I'm chomping at the bit here, man.
So
Yeah, but no, the guy's got it going on. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And I think he's doing a great job. And yeah, with developer stuff, I mean, that's a rabbit hole I'm not going to go down.
Just
because
live vicariously
that's
through
one
mine.
of those things I can pick and choose. But this new line that's coming out, the third wave,
yeah.
I would love to get, if I can down the road, I would love to get one of the female
Steel Brigades,
steel brigades,
Yeah.
and those
the troopers.
the two
Kill Switch and
kill switch and what's her name?
Eclipse.
Eclipse. I
See,
wouldn't mind getting those two. I think
Pandora's the one that I wanted.
they are Pandora. That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one.
The Irish gangster mafia lady.
Yeah, he just man.
That's his baby.
Yeah, he did those up like. I mean, you'd never see anything like that at Classified.
No.
I don't think.
No,
You'd
I mean,
never see anything like that.
like the amount of violence in her backstory. Because have you ever read that comic?
No,
I'll have to bring it next week
No.
so you can take a look at it. The amount of violence in her backstory alone. That's why he's doing a splattered, bloody variant.
Yeah,
of her.
I've heard kind of like a synopsis of her story.
Yeah,
and
it's
pretty,
rough.
It's pretty ugly.
Yeah, but it totally explains why she is the badass that she is. So,
Anyway,
Yep.
the other thing before we cut out here is what did you think of the Indiana Jones stuff? Did you
Oh
see
my
the retro?
God.
You saw the
that was
Retroblasting?
hilarious. I was watching that on my way home.
Michael
from work
nailed it
yesterday.
to the wall, man. It was perfect.
I was like, well, and I forgot too, like, because it was on. I got a notification through Pulse that they were doing an Indiana Jones live stream. I think it was on the 11th, so it was earlier this week. And it took me a little bit.
I didn't see the live stream, but I mean,
Yeah,
I saw the like the nitpicky parts. But I totally get where Michael's coming from.
Yeah, when I started watching the Retroblasting, like it took me a little bit to figure out what was going on. I was like, oh shit, this is from the live stream that they just did. And yeah, I mean, his points are all 1,000% valid.
Yeah, totally.
He's like, oh, they said they took such painstaking effort. He's like, what the one dude that does the customs, I forget his name now. It's got like a Star Wars name, but he's like, so and so like is much closer to the original.
Stan Solo.
Stan Solo. That's what it
Stan
was.
Solo.
He's like, he's much closer to the original than.
Well, it's funny. You look at the figure that they put out, and I think it's exactly what he said. They just went out and found a bolt of fabric.
Yeah. They probably got a good deal on it too. Yeah. The biggest guffaw that I had was at the end. Like he just gets up and he walks away, and then it cuts to the guys, and then it cuts to him just smacking this whip in a field. He's like, "That's a whip."
That's a whip.
But that whip that they revealed was, I mean, it's a joke, dude. If I'm Harrison Ford, I'm pissed. I'm like, dude, just tell Hasbro to not make any.
If you want to
figures.
talk to the perfect super fans for anything pretty much like G.I. Joe or Action Force, not so much like American G.I. Joe, but Action Force,
Yeah.
and some G.I. Joe, but anything Star Wars this guy pays attention to so much stuff. Tony Robbins from Analog Toys, and Michael French from Retroblasting.
yeah.
Those anytime those two, I got it in. Those are the only two I got a bell on.
Yeah.
It pops on, and I'm immediately watching it because I want to.
And the thing is,
I want to answer.
like when they like something, it's just like, okay, you guys are kind of gushing all over this, but we all do it. but they shit on stuff just as much as they gush over
Oh,
stuff. So-
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, French just puts it out there.
Yeah.
He shows you what's wrong.
Yep.
He literally shows you what's wrong. He knows as a consumer what he's looking for out of what he's paying for it.
Right. And I think he's very much in tune with most of the collectors out there. I mean, everybody's a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, which is
But-
one of the reasons why he doesn't take sponsorship for anything, because he doesn't want to have a biased opinion.
He doesn't want it out there,
Yeah.
And those are probably the best reviews that you find that are out there. Is
I love Retroblasting.
You know,
I went back through his back catalog.
Shartimus does some good stuff, but
Retroblasting.
I don't want to say he's been bought out, but he's got sponsors. So I think he eases back on some stuff when he used to not do that.
I don't know if he's got so much sponsors.
And Pixel Dan is like that.
Yeah.
It just seems like they've softened up a little bit, like the longer they've gone on.
He reviews a lot of.
Pixel. He sticks to mostly Motu though.
I was gonna say he sticks to mostly Motu, but
Yeah,
anyway.
but yeah,
we went a little longer than we wanted to today, but
that's one more thing. I mean, I'll change this. You brought up that there's been some unconfirmed rumors about Classified doing a HasLab for the Dragonfly.
yes,
I say no.
Yeah, I'm on the fence. I'm going to bring it up at the toy show, though. I'm going to see what people think.
If the question is, do I think that that's going to be the next HasLab? My answer is no. I think it's more cost effective for them to do something like an Awe Striker or a Vamp right now.
Well, the Awe Striker, they're doing they're doing a Transformers crossover on that.
But that's for 3 3/4
It's
figure.
for 3 3/4.
This
but
would be
still...
a 6-inch scale Awe Striker, though.
Yeah.
So, because
maybe.
Now, does it work better to have a helicopter attack a tank, or do you want to have a Jeep so you could have some kind of a ground race?
Yeah, I guess I get that.
So,
But I mean, really, the creation of the here's what they. Here's what they're saying. It's unconfirmed rumor. They're assuming they're thinking 10.5 to 11.5 inches high, 3 feet long. Carry 2 figures. They're thinking it would come with Airborne and Wild Bill.
You'd have to come with Wild Bill.
It'll have a flight stand, and it could be complete bullshit. But how much would you pay for it? That was the question that really snagged me.
So here's
what would you give up for something like that?
So knowing that the Hiss went for $300 and what we got, I'm kind of regretting that I didn't try harder to figure out a way to get that Hiss.
That's the other thing. What would be the tiers?
Before I get to my price point and we can talk about tiers in a second. If you do a Dragonfly, there's no way at all that you can't do that without some kind of mechanized rotors like the original had.
Well, you'd have to. There's got to be some kind of gearing system in there.
Now, you engineer that and you build those pieces and you machine them out. That's going to drive up the cost of that HasLab. But you cannot do that Dragonfly without it, is my take.
I agree with that.
With that being said, because there was nothing... well, here's the other thing, though. You put lights and shit in the Hiss, and it looks fantastic. So, does Hasbro make the decision to not do lights in the Dragonfly, but we do the mechanized rotor? Or do they do both, and it jacks the price up? Now, if you look at the Hiss tank, you've got lights, you've got a bunch of swappable parts, and you got 3 figures that come with it for a price point of $300. Take away the cost. You just go back $20 a figure, right?
Yeah.
So three figures at $20 a figure, that's $60 off the price. So actually the tank itself with the lights and all of the accessories was $240. It's not really that bad of a deal, I don't think.
Yeah.
So to jump forward a little bit, I think that the Dragonfly definitely is going to be at least I think it would be $350 for 2 reasons.
I'd go pretty close to 4. Actually.
See, I think it'll probably be closer to 4, but it's got to be at least $350. They know they can get the money because they went 300% over on his HasLab in like 2 days. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like they backed it in 12 hours. So they know they can get the money. People are stupid. They'll throw the money at that. With the Hiss tank, you could put those attachments on there. Some of them made sense. You had like the new canopy. You had the wheelbase to make it look like a classic Hiss. You had the weapons rack that came in there anyways. But you had like the tank like the missiles that go on the side, the missile racks.
Yeah.
So you could put stuff on that tank. What are you going to add to a helicopter?
I mean, it's going to be if they make it, it's going to be based on the Super Cobra, the Bell Super Cobra.
Well, and that's the thing. Do they change it, and then do they design it off of a Black Hawk now?
That's what would make me. That's what would scare me, is that they would actually take the design and change it.
Right.
Because I mean, the Dragonfly, Dragonfly's got.
But that's the thing, is they can't do that, because look at the hiss.
It's got to be an AH-1 Super Cobra. It's got to be.
Right.
It can't be any other helicopter.
So the hiss they did was based off the old 788 first run 1983 hiss. There's been a bunch of hiss tanks since then that they could have either grabbed designs from or designed it after, but they didn't. They designed it after the G1.
Yeah.
So they have to do the Dragonfly after the G1 because they've already set that precedent. And especially if you're going to price it like $350 or $400, you can't risk losing those backers. The worst case is you put something out there, it doesn't get backed, and now all of a sudden nobody wants to back anything from your line, a la Star Wars. Like you did the Rancor for like $300, nobody wanted it, and now I haven't seen
lightsaber. Nobody wanted that.
Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, nothing's gotten backed. I haven't seen any announcements on anything, so you could totally shoot the line down by doing that.
Yeah,
you have to be smart about it. But what are you going to add to it? Like maybe you pull out the minigun on the side and you put in a missile rack.
Yeah.
But you can't start adding shit onto a helicopter because it's going to weigh it down. Because it's going to look wrong. So now you're kind of at like, okay, Wild Bill, it would suck balls if Airborne was an extra trooper out of that, because if there's no other way to get, or you'd have to announce that figure was going to be released retro-carded. Now everybody believes that the Cobra Commander will be re-released retro-carded, just without the Mickey Mouse logo.
Yeah.
And I can see that, because Hasbro loves reusing molds. But to announce a figure like Airborne to be the special figure to come with that, like, I think they'd be better off.
That would be a shot in the foot to a lot of collectors, man.
Exactly.
'Cause Airborne was a popular character.
Exactly. I mean, like, I like the Hiss tank driver. I think it's awesome, just the stark red and the black armor. But good luck if I'm ever going to get one. Like,
right.
So I think they'd be better off if they announced, say, like Ripcord first, or announce the Airborne, and then release him as like a Night Force version with the Dragonfly. You got the molds, just mold it in different colors. Make it special for the people that want to put the money into it. But don't put a mainline figure in there.
Yeah,
like
right.
That's just horseshit.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know what else they're going to do to it. I mean, you could put the lights in it because you've done it with the Hiss. You'd have to mechanize the rotor. You can't just start throwing attachments onto it. Like I said, it's a helicopter, so your tiers are probably just figures.
It would have to be like a ground crew kind of thing, you know, like
right. And
like
honestly, Wild Bill's going to come with it. He's not going to be a tier.
Yeah, Wild Bill's going to be a part
like
of
he'll
it,
come with it. So then, but yeah, like you're right. Who do you throw into it? Like now, I know the thing with Airborne was he was one of the pilots, and I think his card had him jumping out of it.
Yeah.
So he'd be a perfect addition, but there's got to be other people that you can do to it.
It'll be an interesting talking point, though. We'll hit that at Romeo Con.
But do I think they're going to do that one? No, I think they're going to go with a Jeep first.
I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's. So. But anyway, that's going to do it for this week.
Yeah. Good talk.
Yeah.
We don't need Ron.
Who needs him? Anyways, folks, we'll see you next week. Y'all take care.
Full crew, hopefully. See ya.
Autobots, roll out.